actually start here with my anvil and talk about a little bit of forging. So when you're forging, you really, you know, for me, it's like I want to make sure that I have a really strong amount of resist. So this is my wood stump. This is like a, oh my gosh, 150-pound anvil. And then I can use, you know, a nice size forging hammer. And let me show you here when I cut, when you're using, you know, a 10, a 12, or just a heavier gauge, you really want to use these Xeron or some really heavy duty pliers. These will cut super nicely, but you just really, you know, so it's like I'm gonna measure this out to exactly what I need. I'm gonna lay, here I'll show you from the side. I'm gonna lay my pliers right up against my anvil, this back part here, and I'm just really gonna lean into it. And then I get a beautiful cut. It doesn't hurt my fingers. It doesn't, you know, really doesn't hurt my wrists. I stay in good shape because it's always about staying in good shape, right? So if you guys know this about forging, great. I'm just here to remind you guys. And you know, we're gonna be building a pretty cool project, but I'm gonna start with the basics. So these pliers will give you a double flush edge. And then on the other side, I'm gonna see a pinch. So I really wanna make sure that I get these pinch sides nice and cut off. So I have two beautifully flush sides. These are double flush, but you know, on this side, you're gonna, when I cut on this side, I'm gonna see a beautiful tabletop. And when I cut this side, you'll see a pinch, which usually ends up not giving you a really beautiful end for your work. So I'm just gonna get started and show you guys how I really work, you know, with the edges. And there's a lot of annealing involved here. So I'm just gonna start. Now, when you're forging, I really wanna make sure that my, you know, I'm holding down on my pliers. I'm not tight, I'm very loose. You know, it's my muscle here, it's my bicep that's guiding where my pliers are going. And I'm really just working on this end. And I'm hitting it very evenly and equally. And this is about as far as I'm gonna go before I anneal this. You don't wanna spread it too far. You literally can break your metal. You also can hammer your piece this way where you don't see, you know, it's more like it takes up volume, you know, and dimension. This way, I just love my edge to be visible. So I'm just gonna keep going. I'll let you guys watch as I just finish going on. Actually, I'm gonna flip it around and I'm gonna start the other side. My back is straight, my feet are straight. You want your anvil to be right where your knuckle hits, and you can see mine hits perfectly. I actually, now I do have sandals on today, but I actually wear my work sandals that hit exactly where my anvil, you know, this has a lot of rubber on my feet. I've got some wood down, I've got mats down. I'm always making sure that I am comfortable and safe and my body is safe when I am doing my work. I'm gonna work this edge a little bit. Mine are nice and straight, you know, but because I've been doing this so long, but oh my gosh, my fingernails are already dirty. Okay, but if you start getting a real wonky edge on here, you just really want to start pulling, you know, you're in control of where your wire is going, and you literally can pull wherever you want your wire to go. Okay, you guys, just one little brief note then. I wanted to mention I'm gonna have, so many people ask me like, what are my measurements in, you know, what are my measurements that I take? So I'm writing down all the different pieces that I snip. I usually do mine pretty random, but I know sometimes it's hard. So I like to just really stagger sizes. So when I get in for this is gonna be the multiple bracelet. So you're in here for the long run. So make sure your back is straight. And because I'm not sure where I'm gonna be drilling at, I'm actually going to be flattening it a little more to the center too. So I'm gonna give you one more for when you get into dimensional heights. You can see how I'm moving this around. I'm gonna move it all the way down through. This is exactly where you wanna make sure that you do your stretching first. I'm gonna grab this side, and this is actually where my piece should be nice and heated up. And I always start by working on the end. I'm standing up nice and straight. I'm making sure I pay attention to my posture. I should be in good shape. And I'm actually hammering all the way. I'm doing my forging and hammering all the way to the center. And you can see how I'm correcting myself. If I see my piece going up this way, I'm gonna hit it down where it's bunched up a little bit. So I'm gonna try to still give myself this, inhale and exhale. But when I get to join these pieces together, I might very well be drilling right into this center piece right here. So I'm gonna actually anneal these. I always go through the first run first, so everybody gets a first run and they look like this. While it's work hardened, I go in and file off my edges. I use my Scotch-Brite wheel and just get the edges cleaned up. And then I come back, then I anneal. It's nice to do it when it's work hardened because then you're not taking off a lot of silver. You're just getting the rough edges off. And then I'm gonna take it over and anneal all of them and come back in and give it a one more time. And I'll take some photos when it's done one more time. And then I wanna show you, it's really the assembly and the drilling. This is a part, I'm gonna be here for about an hour, getting all these pieces hammered out. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, phase one, I'm starting with 7. I have 7 different lengths. I told you I have them written down. So I'm gonna start with these and I'm gonna go in and get these edges filed down. They're really kind of nasty, some of them, and this is so work hardened. I'm gonna use my map gas to anneal. You guys know how to anneal. And I'm gonna come back in for the second round. So here's how they look ahead of time. Okay, you guys, I just wanted to show you a little bit of the second time in. I'm coming in with all my pieces, they're annealed, and I cleared off the edges. They look nice. I'm using my nice ball peen hammer. So you wanna go in very gentle. I think it's surprising, when you see how soft like butter your sterling silver will get to. So I'm just going in very, very gently and getting my edges done nicely. I'm even starting to put a little bit of a curve in here, even though I can do my curves afterwards. You want to make sure everything is nice and straight. So here's what, the second round in. I'm happy enough with this. I'm going to be able to drill through any of these areas with the 1/16 drill bit. So I'm going to do the rest of mine like this, and then I'll get back to you. I'm going to anneal when I'm done. So I have nice, soft metal to bend and to, really get in there and drill my holes too. So here's my setup. I have my 7 pieces all finished right here. I want to make sure I angled the camera so you guys can see my vise set up here, and I have my drill. So this is kind of in the bookmaking connections. It's a cold join, pseudo cold join. We use heat for it. Oops. And I'm gonna have to grab my map gas. But I want to let you guys know, because so many people ask me this question. So here's my lineup of pieces. So the tallest piece that started off as 4.5 inches ended up, after I was done forging, it ended up at 5 3/4 inches. Now, will it be that way for everyone? No, not really, because it all depends. It's a personal, it's a personal technique when you're forging. It's like when you're pulling it this way, you're gonna get length. When you're pulling it this way, you're gonna get width. So I kind of did a little bit of both. I brought it in from this way and kind of brought it out and lengthened it a little bit because I wanted it thinner. So, it's a lot thinner. The smallest one ended up starting off at 2.5 and the shortest, and it actually spread out to a little over, almost like 3 inches, but more like 2 8/9 or something like that. So that's the smallest. So you guys, it's just really a personal, just something really personal that you're gonna find. So get your measurements. It was kind of fun measuring it. Usually I don't, I just kind of get into the process. Okay, so you are gonna need 1/16 drill bits, or this is 52. At the hardware store, it's 1/16. With the jeweler stores, it's number 52. And I like using a pretty big drill bit, because when you're dangling on the edge here, it's really nice to have. I'm actually gonna set this up. This is a wooden ring mandrel, and you could use a number of different tools, putting them into here. And I'm actually using this, whoops, I have to move this table a tiny bit so I can get this cinched. So I'm actually using this right inside here. I'm getting this closer, sorry guys. Oops, I'm getting farther away. Okay, so I'm gonna use this in here when I'm working small. I work on this end, and I'll pull it back in so you guys can see my surface area. It's just kind of nice to, work in that way. And then I have my drill up here. I like working on this table when I can because it's clean. You guys have seen my studio, right? This is actually a wooden, or this is a metal mandrel, but you guys, can use the size that you want to. Now, remember, I want to size this. I know my wrist is a little bit, I like sizing them right to this third rung in. So I'm going to size these to the third rung and just get my curves in this way. Makes it nice and easy. Actually, if I get them curved here, they're annealed, so nice and annealed, so I don't really have to hit it with the rubber mallet. I shouldn't have to. And let me get all these curved, because the first time around, now really you guys, I promise you this isn't gonna be enough, but you guys can kind of see how I'm going to be assembling these. I'm gonna have to go back in and do another round. And guess what? It really only took me 20 minutes. I was like, remember when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be here for an hour. So it didn't end up taking that amount of time. So that was pretty cool, right? Okay, so if, a lot of times if you use the mallet, it just really kind of moves it into a different place. So this is what I'm looking at. Actually, if I had pickled these, I try now here when I'm looking at this, I just want to show you guys some assembly. See how I have this assembled? This looks like a nice bracelet size. In fact, this bracelet is a little bit bigger here. So this is going to be on the big side, but sometimes when you're working with pieces like this, you really want it on the big side. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna and then see how I can just fit this right in here. This would be a beautiful fit. I'm gonna wanna curve that a little bit more. Maybe I wanna do something like this. I love when I can reach, and then I can open it up. Once I get the core of my piece, then, it's easier. So I can get around. This is my largest piece here. So let's see where that's gonna take me to. Do I wanna use this large piece now? Sometimes these large ones are a little excess. There we go. Okay, so here's kind of my patterning. You can see I'm gonna have to fill in. It's my choice how far I want to go and spread outward. So you can see I'm gonna need, at least, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need at least 6 more pieces from here. So I usually try to do a little extra, but that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm actually gonna get in, and for this first band here, I'm just gonna start with this first band and drill. If I had these, if I had these pickled and clean, which makes them a little bit hardened again, I could actually put a marker spot on here and I would know exactly where to drill. But I'm so used to doing this. Hang on, and so I'm actually gonna go grab one more tool that I need. I'll be right. This is one more tool that I need. This actually is normally set up as a hole punch, so you wanna be very careful. You don't really wanna punch through these because it takes a lot of time to get your piece back out again. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started right with these two right here. See this? I'm gonna get in, and you could still do these drill one at a time here. We're at the beginning stages, so a lot of times I just drill at the beginning, and if you have them marked with the marker. So I'm just gonna stand up, and the way I use this, lean into it. I always talk to everybody about not hurting your wrist, what's the best way to do things. You can see that little mark up here. So I'm gonna get in, put it over here. Oh, you guys can hardly see this. I think I'm gonna have to adjust it a little higher. There we go, see that? I just kind of want to keep this as close as I can. And I'm gonna drill these both together. You can see I'm precariously on the edge of a piece. So I'm gonna make sure, I moved it just to make sure I'm going through the center of the next one. Okay, voila, there's my ends. This is my first piece in. So let me I'm gonna keep everything in place. That's what my objective. I have my map gas over. I have it right down here. So I'm gonna use my map gas. I find it's the easiest ever. I brought over some 20 gauge wire because 20 gauge is thick enough to hold this piece structurally together, but it's also thin enough to draw a bead so quickly, so I'm in pretty good shape. I actually, sometimes I do thicker depending, sometimes I do up to 16 gauge. So I also brought over I'm gonna move this again. I also brought over my board because I don't wanna interrupt this stuff here. I interrupted a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys, I'm actually gonna make, trying to decide. Okay, I'm actually gonna make the nail heads. And I have water quenching here. So you guys, I'm just gonna get in with my 20 gauge. I actually, 18 would be, actually I might do a little thicker. Okay, I actually decided to use an 18 gauge. 18 is a little thicker and it's a round because structurally it's gonna hold it together. I don't have any material next to here or glass or gems where, it's really gonna bother me on destroying it. So it's just all metal. So I'm gonna get in, do the plunge. There we go, get this plunge in. And I just actually start from the inside. You could even use a 16 gauge if you wanted to. So this is the first one in. Sometimes I really try to build it out and get quite a few of them involved. But for this first one, I'm just gonna keep it nice and simple. From this point forward, you'll see, sometimes I tuck in multiples. So here we are here. I'm gonna leave this about an inch or about 3/4 of an inch. See that? I have it about, maybe about a 1/2 inch. Now, if I can, these are my crappy pliers that I'm gonna need to hold this as tight as possible. Okay, see that? I've got it nice and structurally sound. So I'm gonna get my map gas on. Give it the plunge. If it's a little bit loose, that's okay. This one's a little bit loose. These are really made for movement. So there's the first join right here. Okay, now I wanna make sure I get in and get the rest of these. So this I think went this way. So these, I'm gonna just do 3 of them. Oh, I should join another one. I should join this one in here too. So now for this time around, I'm gonna join, this one's tricky, guys. When it's like, I know in intentional metalsmithing, I showed, straight up and down the easiest way to do things. So we'll do it like this, okay? So now when I get into this, there we go. Let's see how many I can put together at the same time. You know what? See this area over here with 4? There's literally 4 pieces right here. I'm gonna drill all these up and I'm gonna make my wire ahead of time because I'm gonna need it. And this is why these thicker pieces are so important. There's my nail head. I'm drilling all these areas here. So let's see, let me get my marker. I'm gonna mark all of these because at this point, I can see I can take these apart. So even though this piece looks dirty, I still can use it. So this is going here. I need to it gets to be a messy time, guys. It's a little messy. Don't expect, your brain has to be ready and clean for this. Here's a mark here. Then the only other spot that's kind of tricky, I'm gonna do this one first because this one, I could still see this good enough, so that's cool. So I didn't have to anneal it. All right, get in my drill, get all 4 of these done, and then you guys will start to see how these complex, guess what I didn't do? I didn't punch it. So once they're marked, then you just punch it, get through. That puncher really saves your life, I'm telling you. If there was one good tool for this, oops, I'm still slipping off though. Not quite on there. go. I tried to have it where you guys can see everything, but sometimes you just can't. Okay, I'm gonna lift it up to where I'm at here. Oops, where is this marker? Here's the marker. I did it on the inside. Then it's like, how do you get it put back together again, right guys? Like this one I can drill this way. So this one's here. I've got 4 to drill. This one is here. Yeah. Oops, I've got to mark it. Right here. See how I can get these back together again. I'm telling you. You're gonna know why you get to charge the big bucks for this kind of a piece. I do know this one went here. And then I have this one to do, this end. One more piece. Oops, make my mark. Okay, this went here. This went here. Me tinks. Oh, there we go. Look at that, guys. It's all gonna line up. Okay, good thing I did this ahead of time. I wanna start from the center. Now remember still, my pieces could still go wayward many different directions. So when I pick this up, I wanna try to keep it as clean, as, you know, all going the right way that I can. See what I mean? So it's like, I'm here, I'm gonna get this cut, and I need a little bit of room in here, so I'm gonna make this cut a little longer. I don't wanna pinch it all the way up to the side. How do I hold all these? Well, I'm just gonna find, like this one right here is essential. This one is essential. There we go. Whoop. This one is a little tricky. So let's see if I can get this done. This one is pulling a little bit of room out, but that's okay. So let's see if I can get how I can get this done. It's like, you know, life isn't always just about having everything perfect. Things are, you know, this is why I didn't show this in intentional metalsmithing. It's trickier than you think. And this is trickier than you think. Right, I need it this way though. Okay, there we go. I think we are, and sometimes you can go a little bit and then go more. Okay, here we go. And I don't want to bring it all the way down because I want some room for movement. Okay, here we are, guys. Look where it's coming into. Does that look good? Does that look like something you'd want to start wearing? Remember, this is the last piece. So that forms this area. So let me see if this piece has to go in, but you can see now with these pieces in, I can do 4 here and I can do 4 there. Let me put this in between 2. There, I like that better, don't you? So it kind of is just a little bit sometimes of seeing how you like it best. I can always go in and tighten those if I need to. Ooh, I'm loving the direction of this, right? Okay, I'm gonna do, this is kind of redundant, but I'm gonna do these couple again. And then, you know, I'll probably add some more out there so I can bulk it out. So I know you guys kind of just like seeing, it seems kind of crazy and scary with these, and how do you get it back, right? So this piece, this is the only piece we don't have involved here. So that one needs to be drilled. Mark it, drill it, mark it. Here, I'm just using my wrist right now. Sometimes when I'm on camera, I just, you know, I just kind of do it a little differently, right? Okay, let me get this marked and drilled. This is picking up the whole lot. So this one, I'll have to get it back down again. You know, a lot of times it ends up in a different position than you think it would. This is just really using your right side of your brain. See, what I'm talking about is this, yeah, this one does go back here, okay. So you just look for your holes that you made. Here's more holes, okay. I think we're in good shape so far. There's, nope, some of these, see how some of these flipped? This one's gotta go here. There we go. There we go. We've got 1, 2 in. Now I've got to get, this one's a loose piece, so I'm going to go ahead and get this one drilled in. And I can see it needs to be drilled right here. So I'm going to have to pick this whole bunch up again. Let me get it punched first before I pick, well, I might as well just pick it up. Once we get this part in, it becomes a little trickier because it's not going to come apart like this again. Oop. Well, remember I told you not to punch it through? This is why you're struggling with this kind of for a longer time than you want to be. But we got our hole in here. So here is where we're at, and we've got one more to go. That's going to be inserted right in here. So let me get this one. This one is a little looser right here. Okay, get this drilled. Okay, you guys, here we go. So this is ready to go. Yay! I don't have to worry that much about what this looks like. So let me get in and get this drilled. Okay. I start on the inside when I do the nail heads because then I can make a nice nail head on the outside and not have to worry about this inside part right here. You can do so much with these. You can make them teeny tiny. You could make them large. You could make them, you know, it's just really kind of fun once you get this technique down. Sometimes what I'll even do is just grab the whole lot, hold it with my hands, and get in and out super quick. Because, you know, when you work with silver for so long, you kind of know. Look at that, guys. It is coming together. This one might need coming together. This one we're going to do like this. Okay. One more area here. There we go. Okay. Get out my marker. And I'm going to want to go here. Oops, a little bit over. We're all, you know, this is determining how that one goes there. This one drills here. This one drills here. I think they're all attached now. So, see if I can get in and punch these. I have my markers on the inside. Oop. Did I get my markers in? Let's see if I can see that one. No, I can't even see them. When your piece gets a little bit wet, it gets a little crazy, right? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and mark them this way. There, that looks good. Okay. Sometimes this is what it takes. Okay, I'm gonna just drill through these two right here. I've got my mark. Got my drill. I'm through two of them. Now I need these two. So I'm gonna drill right here and here. Drill two at a time because it's easier once I get this figured out. Okay. Okay. Oops. I'll have to, when I polish that up, you just have to be really careful when you're dangling on the edge. You know what I mean? Just be careful. Okay, I think we're here. This is our 4 pieces. This one is a little wider. You don't want any tension when you're drawing a bead through here. I can warn you guys already. If you have any tension, so you want to make sure everything's in the right spot. If you have any tension, it's just gonna break. Your wire is just gonna spring and break. Okay. Come on this inside. So I really have to make sure these pieces fit without the tension. There we go. I think I did it. Okay. So let's get this end. Draw a bead on this end. And then I'll show, then you guys will get to see the results so far of our beautiful arrangement. Okay. All right. Whoops. There we go. Remember when I said it does the spring? There it went. A little bit of my nail head broke off. So let me do this. Get one in here again, and it should be a little tighter. Get one more done. Nope, that's not the right one. Here it is right here. See if I can get this done. And when I do, it's fun from here on out. Okay. Do I like this? Do I not like this? Okay, you know what I mean? It's like I could bring this piece around a little bit more. I could, there's a lot of different things. I like it. I really like it. And I'm gonna add more on this end. So don't have to be too assertive. Get this piece done. Even these little ends really work nicely in the end. So I just have to make sure these two are held together. There we go. See, I'm gonna come in with my drill. Let's get this done. Okay, if I were to keep this bracelet like this, you can see I've got a couple more places to secure, you know, for this to stay together. So this is the beginning of it. We've got more to go. I'd have to put pieces in here. You don't want any ends going around. So, you know, to build this up more and more, it's gonna be really good. So here we are. I'm going to just get about 6 more pieces cut so I can get this built out. You're not gonna have this flexibility once we get the pieces in. This piece is gonna stay. It's exactly where it needs to be. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. So I know there's a couple more ends that have to be secured, like here, here, so this piece doesn't flip. You know, it's like here and here, here and here, and then this would be a solid piece if I wanted to keep it this height. I'm gonna build it out a little bit more. All right, you guys, well, this is kind of the just idea. You just have to get in and find your way around and, you know where to put your holes in. I'll show you guys this when I'm done, but that's kind of just the basic idea of all of it. Have fun and do this all different sizes and all different ways. Oh my gosh, it'll be really, okay, you guys, I just wanted to show you this. Remember how my piece is a little bit wobbly? I need to get in and secure up in a couple more places. I actually just did 4 more pieces. So these 4 pieces started off at, you know, these pieces now. I just did these 4 pieces. They were 2.5 to 3. I'll write down everything, but you can see where I'm adding on. I'd have to get in here and secure it up a little bit better anyway. So I thought I would go around it nice and even in all the spots. And I actually am gonna go through the whole piece as far as I can go, and my piece should be really sturdy then. So here is gonna be the final. So I just needed 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 11 pieces in total. Yay, maybe there could have been another one inside, but I like it. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. You know how to do it, and I'll show you the final results. You guys, check it out. I love the shape of it. I wanted to show you that it's still a little wobbly. It's not as wobbly as before. So don't worry, if your piece is wobbly, I still have to go in and shore this up in quite a few places, but now with everything put together, it'll be a lot easier. So anyway, this piece will be nice and secure, but I at least need, see, like 1, I'm at least gonna put in 4 more secure areas. That'll keep my piece in place, okay? One little quick thing that I wanted to show you guys, when my piece is put together like this, if I can, I slip the piece to the side for drilling, you know, however you can. So I've got this first one marked. I'm gonna get in here and drill it. So if I get this first one drilled, otherwise, I just hold everything in place Okay, this might be the way to do it. Now, once I get through this first one, okay, I'm through the first one, but I need to be very careful with the piece under it. Yep, looks like it's going in the right place. So once I get through this, next one, I have to make sure that the one under it is in the right place. So if you can use these holes to line them up, it's great. Okay, now I'm through 3. Oh, good, and the 4th one is in a beautiful spot. So this worked out well. It's getting stiffer and stiffer. Okay, so this hole worked out really well. So anyway, that's just a little tip.